What's going on, everybody? This is Over the Ropes. I'm Tyler.
I'm Cortland.
Hey,
Happy St. Patrick's Day,
Happy
gang.
St. Patty's Day, and he's back. Yeah. Now you don't have to just...
Brother, it killed me to miss that show. What a weekend. I'm super busy. I got out of work insanely late on Friday. I had an early in Saturday. I didn't watch SmackDown until I texted you.
Yeah.
I finished SmackDown like late afternoon yesterday, Sunday.
Yeah. Man,
Your boy's behind.
What a breezy show of Raw, man. Like, this Raw flew by.
I can get used to some afternoon Raw.
Oh, dude, I love the afternoon Raw. Yeah, Give this to me. I was just saying that to somebody earlier. So this is great. Get home, watch Raw, do the podcast. Then all we have to do tomorrow is watch NXT. Wednesday, do the podcast. Then we're done till Friday, man. Yep. This is perfect. Yeah,
I like this.
Give me more of this. It's like the next, 3 weeks?
Yeah, so we got 2 more Raws and 3 more SmackDowns. Next week it is moved back an hour. It's 4.
That's fine.
But I'm fine with it.
We need to get one of those VPNs so we can watch the Euro version of Netflix and watch SmackDown early, too.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I work anyway, so it doesn't matter for me.
Yeah. Fair enough. Since you weren't here for Friday's show, let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Ray Phoenix and Aleister Black? Is that who that was?
I just realized that I never submitted my comment, but I was going to comment on the video. 100% Phoenix. The tattoos were the same. They're the 4 claw scratch.
Yeah.
And the hand tattoo matched. Aleister, the music, the smoke, the black. Also, do you know the significance of 4?
It's been 4 years since he's been in the WWE.
And do you remember the vignettes he was starting to do? He was starting to read the tales of the Dark Lord or Dark Master. He was on chapter 4.
Yeah. I saw that one too. And then I heard somebody say today, it's been 4 years. And I was like, oh, shit. Yep. It has.
Yep. We all know the next shirt I'm buying. I can't believe he's coming back, man. Holy shit.
I thought of something. This might put him in NXT longer. But I was thinking, what do you do with Rusev? You know what I would do?
What's that?
I would put him as the leader of that Shield-ish Team Shield.
Yeah, we still don't have a name for them.
I still don't have a name for them. Have Rusev be their leader. I'd be into that. Him and Lana, you know. I hope she comes back too. She's great. But man, dude, what a Raw! These European crowds are so damn good. I'm glad they turned these European tours right before Mania into full shows because they're excellent, dude. These crowds eat this shit up.
The crowds were great. First ever live broadcast from Belgium for the WWE, which was clearly well-deserved because this crowd was fantastic.
On fire the whole night.
I agree. I love me a European tour. I know it probably stinks for these guys a little bit, but for us it's great because the crowds are so into it. And I'm much more invested when the crowds are great. When we're sitting on our hands in Omaha, Nebraska, sometimes it's a little tough to get through Raw, but not with these European shows.
Yeah. Man, we got a hell of a promo from Cena. And Cody, for that matter. I always like it when Cody keeps it short, man. He talks way too much. I was actually talking to Attic earlier, and I told him if I had the pencil, what I would do. It wasn't this, and this was still good, but if it was me, if I had the pencil, as Bully would say, I would have Cena come out, and then just like the press conference, drop the mic and not say a fucking word and just walk out. That's how I was and that would piss so many people off. But that's exactly what I would do.
He did do that twice, to be fair.
Yeah. Now do it again too.
I thought eventually he was going to just walk out.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised he actually cut a promo.
Yeah, me too. Especially that long of one too.
And what a promo it was. This ended up taking up the first 30-plus minutes of this show.
Yeah.
And unreal. The wall of sound, when his music hit, deafening in the boos. I was very curious how the crowd was going to react. Just a wall of boos.
Yeah.
And we don't get the typical entrance, no high fives, no running. When he, shows us what his little towel says, he doesn't throw it into the crowd. Yeah. He just kind of saunters to the ring.
Yeah.
He did have the themed t-shirt, though.
But before we get too much into that, I just want to do kind of an overview of the show real quick.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I mean, we got Penta going for the IC title. Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
You and I talked a lot, especially before Elimination Chamber, that we thought like the U.S. title was going to have a multi-man match. I feel like it's going to be the IC title, isn't it?
With each passing week, it looks like that completely flip-flopped, and it's going to be Raw. I agree.
Braun, Breaker, Penta, Dom,
Finn,
Ludwig,
exactly.
Pete Dunne, maybe. Like, there's so many, Maybe they do both, frankly, because I still feel like the U.S. title picture really could use that also, You know
what match is not going to be multi-man? The U.S. Tag Team Championship, because Jimmy Uso is the only one going for it.
Damn. Disrespect. We have a great contract signing. That was, again, everything was real short, but not in a negative way.
I like that.
Yeah, no, I thought the whole show, it ran well. Even Seth wasn't long-winded. Cody wasn't long-winded. We got everything ran pretty quick. And you said to me before we started the show that, like, it was kind of suspiciously short. And I said to you, like, I think they had no idea how long Cena was going to go. And, we've heard that they're trying to keep an eternal clock. So, I think that's probably what it was. So.
Yeah, I think it's hard to predict how long he was going to get booed at, And it lasted for a really long time. I don't think he spoke. I meant to make a note of it, but I don't think he spoke until like 7 or 8 minutes in. Like, they just react. It might have even been later, honestly. Man, did they just boo and boo and boo. And then we got the let's go Cena. Cena sucks.
Oh, yeah.
They completely take over.
Yeah.
So he just sets the mic down, and then they start booing him again. And then he picks it back up, and then they start chanting, "You sold out." So he sets the mic down again.
I like you said earlier, like he keeps the music, he keeps the merch, which he gets into. But I like that the shirt was like, first off, I hate maroon. Maroon's an ugly-ass color.
I love it.
The poor Commanders have the ugliest uniform. Well, no, that's not true. There's worse. But I hate maroon so much. It's so ugly.
So funny.
It's like borderline brown. But I like how instead of red, it was maroon. Because it was like, I'm keeping my shit, but I'm not giving you guys the, like, highlighter, bright, like...
Pebble.
Right. Like, no, fuck you. I'm not giving you what you want. I'm taking what I want.
And also, the wording on the back was different. It was like, you don't see me after this.
Did it say that? I didn't catch that.
I think it says, after this, you can't see me.
Gotcha.
So I agree. I like that. He shook it up a little bit, but it's not too different. And like you said, he addresses it.
Yeah.
So eventually, he picks the mic back up after dropping it twice. And he says the same thing. I'm like 90% sure he tweeted this out this morning or yesterday.
Yeah.
He says, when someone is properly grounded in life, they shouldn't have to look outside of themselves for approval. The crowd just jumps all over him again, and he's like, you guys are making this easy for me. He says for 25 years, he's been the victim of an abusive relationship, and the crowd just boos him some more.
Damn.
He says the crowd has lost their time to talk. And then Cena's, you know what, take the floor, and what do you do with it? All you do is be hurtful, abusive, and all the fans have ever done is bully Cena into being a damn puppet, and we expect them all to do it with a smile on his face, but he says no more.
Yep.
The crowd changes their chant to "fuck you, Cena," and they were just relentless this whole promo. Cena says he's not a babyface. He's not a heel. He's a human being.
I love, because before this he says, very classy. Thank you. And the look on his face is amazing, because it's this look of disgust and just like, oh my god, I can't stand you people.
Yep. He says each one of us has been awful to him. It's been the same noise for 25 years. Cena says we let him know that he wasn't worthy of our attention, so he worked hard like he always does. And it worked for a bit, but then it wasn't enough, so we worked hard again, and he started to win, and win, and win, and win. And he won a lot, and we hated it, and it still wasn't enough. So for the next 10 years, he gave everything he possibly could away. And it still wasn't enough. And the crowd changed their chants again. They started saying, "Shut the fuck up." And then Cena says in his final moments, he can just walk away, but he announced his retirement ahead of time. He gave us like an end date. And he said this was our last chance to all get along one last time, but we ruined it like we always do. Just like always, the fans were nice for 2 seconds, and then it's never enough. And the crowd changed their chant again. And they start chanting, na 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 na, na 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 na, hey, 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 goodbye. And Cena says, no matter what, it's never enough. And he says the fans should all be ashamed of themselves. All we ever did was take. The fans never cared about him. They always cared about what we got, never how he felt. So now we get what we earned, he says, which is nothing. No new music, no new look. Our time is up. His time is now. The only thing we get to take is a long look at the mirror and see how awful we all treated John for 25 years.
Yeah.
Crowd eats him up again. Now they start chanting, we want Cody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Cena says, of course. The crowd chanting for their shiny new toy before they put him out to pasture, too. I thought that was a great line. Mm-hmm. The crowd switches back to let's go Cena. Cena sucks. And Cena says, the Cena sucks jackoffs have already proven themselves as awful people. But it's time for him to explain why the let's go Cena people are just as bad. Cena says he asks what they've done to actually support him over the years. He says all they've actually done was just steal from him. He says everyone treated him just like a toy. He was an object to them. And he was made the butt of the stupid invisible joke for 15 years. And we all still think it's funny, but it's not. He says it's pathetic. He says the fans don't wear his merch to support him. They wear it to make themselves feel good. And he says it's an excuse for the... He says people wearing his merch, they don't support him. They use it for an excuse for our pathetic failure of a life. Mm-hmm. He says all we do is sit on our ass and watch him be great. And they cut to this kid in the crowd wearing all John Cena stuff, and the poor kid is devastated. I felt so bad. Yeah. He says everyone is a toxic, dysfunctional relationship. Uh-huh. He said he's breaking up with every single one of us. He doesn't need us. He doesn't care. We don't matter to him. There's no noise we can make and nothing we can do because he knows he's right. We know we're wrong. And Cody's had enough. His music hits, and the roof blows off the place.
Explodes. Man, yeah.
What a sound.
I'll do the Cody part.
Yep.
So Cody comes in, and the crowd is just nuts. I mean, what a great crowd. Cody says, man, everyone was willing to hear you out, including me. He said, you know what? You're right. They gave you their worst, but they also gave you their best. Because you're special. Because you could take it. Because you could carry it. And he said, so that's why they gave you it all. Because you deserved it. You're special and you can, handle it. What's Cena say?
Listen, kid.
And Cody just screams at him. He goes, enough. He goes,
the dad voice.
Yeah. He goes, and it's not kid, it's WWE champion. And Cena just looks like, I'm sorry, did you just raise your voice to me? Yep. Cody says, who the hell are you? And where the hell is the guy on this shirt? Even after you did what you did, I was excited to face John Cena. I was excited to go up against the man, the legend. He said, but instead I got this. He said, well, this better not show up at WrestleMania, because if it does, I'll run over it, because I already took this best shot and I got back up. He said, so you find John Cena, because I want to wrestle him at WrestleMania, not this whiny bitch that throws the mic at Cena.
Yep.
And boy, that crowd was eating this up. They were eating up everything Cena said, booing the shit out of him, eating up everything Cody said. And then afterwards, we get Michael Cole just going in on Cena, dude.
I loved this.
This was so good because it made it feel more real. Like,
you know how close they were.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Cole's been essentially doing his whole career, and he just could not... Man, he was just laying in Cena. That was great.
He called him an irrational prick.
Yeah, and let me say... Oh, my God. Listen, I'm a Triple H guy. I'm a WWE guy. I'm more positive than I am negative. But boy, did this show not highlight how fucking stupid they are that Corey Graves is on NXT. He is so damn good.
I was waiting to see how long it took you to get into that. My first note says, Graves is at the desk. How long does it take Tyler to mention?
Not long, because boy, I noticed it from the... I normally don't even notice commentary unless it's Corey Graves. Yep. Because he's just so damn good at what he does. Oh, yeah. Frankly, it took me longer than I thought it was, because my first note was, hell yeah, Corey's back.
Awesome.
So then we get into the no-holds-barred match. Ludwig Kaiser versus Penta. Now, here's the thing. I liked that they didn't go overboard with the no-holds-barred thing.
It took them a while to get into it, though.
Yeah,
for a while you wouldn't have even known.
And even when they got into it, they didn't overdo it. Use the chair a couple of times here and there, but it's a regular Raw. Their feud's good, but it's not to that point. Let's not overdo it. I like that. So the match starts off just a usual Penta Kaiser match, because we've seen them go at it a couple of times. Yep. Penta hits him with a big-ass chop that he rolls out of the ring with. Woo, boy. Hear Corey call out his brother in the match?
Yep.
Yeah. Penta runs across the barricade and hits a Hurricanrana.
So smooth.
So smooth. So great. Kaiser ends up getting 2 chairs and goes and throws him in the ring. He gets him stuck on the apron. Tries to get in the ring, and Penta hits him... or kicks him out, and then hits him with the dive over the top rope. They start fighting some more. Kaiser ends up hitting a Death Valley driver on the announce table, and it didn't break.
I know.
Those tables are sturdy now. Because
it's going to mean so much when someone finally goes through it.
Because that table went through it tonight. The amount of people that went over it, on it, whoever is the first person to break it, Roman Reigns, people are gonna explode. Kaiser hit a couple Death Valley drivers tonight.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That's such a fun move. That's such a good move.
And he makes it look effortless.
So yeah. I mean, Kaiser makes everything look effortless. He's so good, dude. Kaiser ends up running around the outside of the ring, and Penta gives him a back body drop onto the announce table, and he fucking bounces off that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. They end up back in the ring. Kaiser ends up hitting a big forearm to the back of the head of Penta. So Kaiser finally gets the chairs. He hits Penta with them a couple times. Gets Penta in the corner and starts choking Penta out with that little bar where the legs are. And he starts screaming at Penta to admit that he's scared. Oh, dude, that was so...
Which was great. Yeah. Good full circle story.
Oh, yeah. Penta gets out of that. Penta ends up kicking the chair into Kaiser's face. Hits the Destroyer onto the chair. And then hits the Penta driver for the win. 1, 2, 3, Penta wins. And, dude, these two... So this is the thing. I used to really bitch and complain when Vince was in charge because if somebody was feuding, they would just like wrestle every week and then wrestle at the pay-per-view. I can't stand that. If somebody's wrestling at the pay-per-view, I don't want them wrestling each other at all because I want to make that pay-per-view match bigger. But if you have somebody like Penta and Kaiser who's not wrestling at a pay-per-view and they're wrestling like every week, every other week, throwing somebody else in there like they were doing with Pete Dunne, changing the stipulations of the match, I love that. This is great because they're doing it with Penta and Kaiser. They're doing it with Penta and Dunne. They're doing it with Chelsea and Michin. And I feel like they're building, the SmackDown Tag Division. They're building these stories and these rivalries just from these repetitive matches, but they're not going to the pay-per-view. They're saving the pay-per-view matches for we haven't seen this much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love the way that they're writing this. It's excellent.
This has been a good feud for Penta to get into the WWE.
Yeah,
and I think it's been great for Kaiser, too. Kaiser had great physicality in this match.
Yeah.
He's always been really athletic, but it was good to see him have great physicality in this one. He went toe-to-toe with Penta.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole way.
So after the match, Kathy, she loves interviewing Penta after his matches. She asks him what's next, and he says a lot of stuff in Spanish, and then ends up saying the Intercontinental Championship. So boy, God, give me Penta winning that belt at Mania. Oh,
that'd be so awesome.
That's gonna be so sweet, and then ship Braun over to SmackDown for that U.S. title. So yeah. Dude, he's gonna be He's gonna be a pillar of this company. It's gonna be Braun, Mello, Penta, they're gonna be carrying this men's division for years.
Oh man, I had no clue how old he was.
Who, Penta?
Yeah, I didn't think to look until you just said that.
How old is he?
Guess.
42.
And he's 40.
Oh, okay, close. Yeah. Yeah, but still, 40 still 30 nowadays in wrestling.
Yeah, and wrestling, it's way different than any other sport. Look at Randy. Randy's the best example.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you notice anything interesting after this match? So we get Dakota Kai walk into the ring.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this happened last week.
So I didn't notice this, but I saw it on Twitter while I was waiting for you. So, yeah.
Dom and Karrion Kross again.
Give me Kross in Judgment Day. Oh, yes.
He has to be the other member they keep talking about at this point.
He's so damn funny lately. We'll talk about later, but him with AJ had me cracking up. Oh, my God.
It was so short, but it was great.
His personality's really starting to come out, and it's so good.
The hair is freaking me out, though. I'm not liking it. But the mimicking hair, there was so much straight hair in that promo.
So much straight in there.
Before all that, we head to the Judgment Day clubhouse. Liv's still talking about how she wishes Dom put himself in the match. And then Finn comes around the corner, so it's Finn.
Clearly hears her.
Yeah, totally, which they keep bypassing. Liv's like, oh, we were just talking about you, and they wish him luck in his championship match later. Finn says he wishes them the best of their luck in their upcoming matches. Dom walks up on the group next. Finn's like, the man of the moment, my ride or die. Finn thanks him from the bottom of his heart for the Intercontinental match. Dom says, whatever it takes to get Judgment Day back on top. And he's like, so I've been doing some thinking, and I've been talking to some people, and he says he's got an idea. And Liv's like, I don't think now's the time. And Dom's like, ever since we lost Judgment Day, we've lost some muscle.
He says after we lost JD, we lost our muscle.
Which is hilarious.
Uh-huh. Yep.
The average head size of the group might have gone down, but that's about it.
And this whole time, Dom has no self-awareness, and Liv is like, oh my God, here we go. Like,
Liv's eyes are the size of the moon.
She knows the explosion's coming. Yeah.
Yep. And so, Dom suggests Penta, of all people.
Oh.
And Finn, who was so excited to see Dom, the man of the moment, all of a sudden Finn snaps. He's like, after all this time, after all we've been through, you go behind my back, you have all these conversations, and you land on Penta, who's coming after my Intercontinental Championship, and he calls Dom a snake, and he storms off.
Yeah. This next part was fucking hilarious. Do you not have written down what happens next?
I didn't write it down, but Dom turns back around, and then it's just Carlito. And what does Carlito say?
So Tom goes, man, I didn't know Penta was going to go after the Intercontinental title.
Oh,
and Carlito like, with the straightest face is like, you don't watch the show, do you?
I didn't write that down, but it was kind of funny.
Which is great, because that's like the running joke. Is like clearly nobody talks to anybody outside of WWE, and clearly nobody watches the show. Like, so for Carlito, just like, you don't watch the show, do you?
And it's funny, because the girls left. Insert Carlito.
Yeah.
Levity spot, nailed it.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, we move on to our second match of the night.
Hell yeah.
Do you want to do it, or do you want me to?
Go on.
Rock and roll. So we get Dakota Kai versus Ivy Nile. Pretty quick match, to be honest. Dakota was
fast.
Dominant through pretty much the entire match. She was about to hit the ropes, I think, to dive over, and she gets interrupted by Chad Gable, who's up on the apron. Distraction gives Ivy Nile some time to recover. She hits Dakota with this huge move. Honestly, I have no idea what it was, but it was cool. She gets a 2 count. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee head to the ring. They kind of even the numbers up. They chase off the Creed brothers, and then they chase Chad Gable away. That's got Ivy distracted at this point. Dakota hits her with the big boot in the corner. She hits the GTK, and Dakota Kai gets the win.
Oh yeah, this is another one that they just keep throwing out there, but it's building stories. It's building things for these people. And it was a real quick match. Frankly, this is probably the quickest match on the card. Probably no. Oh yeah, duh. Yeah, no shot. That was one much quicker.
That one was so fast you forgot.
Oh yeah, pretty much. And I can't wait to get to that.
But before that, we have the contract signing.
We have the contract signing. So we get Io and Bianca out there. Adam Pearce is out there. And boy, does this start off as the most calm contract signing WWE's ever had. Io says Bianca and Rhea won't disrespect her anymore. She's the champion, and after WrestleMania, she will still be the champion. Signs the contract. Bianca says, hey, you know what? I'm going to let last week go. That was my fault. That was my bad. I shouldn't have put my hands on you. But nobody's going to put their hands on me. So Bianca essentially is like, hey, my bad. My bad. My fault. So I'm going to let this slide. We ain't even going to worry about it. Bianca signs the contract. Adam Pearce thanks them for behaving. I love this, talking to everybody like they're his children, because he definitely does it to Rhea later. So Pearce thanks everybody for behaving. He was like, this is a great contract signing. And then out comes Rhea Ripley. And she's just walking out there with, hair on fire. So she gets in pissed. Gets in the ring. Rhea says, last week Io slapped me, and she's not going to sit there and get away with it. I'm not going to do nothing about it like Bianca's doing. So she gets in the ring. Yeah, and her and Bianca just instantly start yelling at each other. They're talking over each other. Rhea says, hey, I'm just taking a page out of your book. I'm just coming here to watch. That's all I'm doing. I'm just here to watch. And Bianca's like, yeah, you're going to watch WrestleMania because your ass isn't in it.
Yeah, I did like that.
So they start arguing and bickering more. Io comes running over to break it up. And again, Bianca pie faces her. Again,
nothing ever changed.
Yeah. So Rhea headbutts the shit out of Bianca. She falls back onto the table. She kicks Io. picks Io up and power bombs her onto Bianca, onto the table, and that damn table didn't break either.
I was shocked that table didn't break.
Me too, because she power bombed the shit out of Io. So
yeah.
And then Rhea grabs the contract, signs it, and takes off with the contract.
Right.
Do you remember the last big time they did that? I don't know if it's the last, but the most notable time for me.
That someone signed it to make it a three-way, or they took it.
Yep.
I don't, to be honest.
So I'm sure there's been times in between, but the most notable time for me is how WrestleMania 20 got a triple threat.
Okay, so I was going to say that, and I was like, there's no way, but it was Shawn, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it was Benoit and Triple H. Benoit hadn't signed the contract. Shawn super kicked both of them and signed his name before Benoit.
I should have gone with my gut because I knew it was Shawn, and that's one of my favorite matches of all time.
What a triple
I should have gone with my gut. Oh my god, I was obsessed with that match. Because that's when I really, 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 really got into WWE.
Yeah.
So that was like a big benchmark WrestleMania.
And Benoit was the WCW guy. Oh. Yep.
Oh, life was so good back then.
Eddie, man.
Oh, man, what a mania.
To this day, I have a bunch of people in my house who did not grow up wrestling fans, but they watch it here and there. And they talk about Eddie like they've been watching him his whole life because of the amount of Eddie stuff I've shown them. He's just so awesome. Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, let's go.
Getting a little off topic here for a minute. This next match takes about 3 seconds. What was your reaction to the Radicals showing up in WWE? How'd you feel about all of them?
I don't know that I was watching yet. I think I was still kind of pissed. Like, I wasn't really into... No,
you were watching WCW. Yeah,
I wasn't even watching WWF yet.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that till way after.
Benoit was champion.
Yeah. It was, I don't know,
So let me rephrase that, because I know you weren't watching WWE. How did you feel about those guys in WCW? Do you remember having a strong opinion about any of them?
So it's Saturn, Benoit, Guerrero, and Malenko.
Yeah.
Malenko is that, very solid, what they call a good hand. Mm-hmm. But, I always thought Eddie was really exciting. Saturn I always kind of thought was a dope. Mm-hmm. I always loved Benoit, though. So I liked Eddie and Benoit.
So as somebody that watched both shows, I always loved Benoit. Honestly, I didn't start loving Eddie until he came to WWE. I wasn't super into the whole LWO thing, and they really treated Eddie like he was just a cruiserweight in WCW.
Yeah. The stuff with Ray got me fired up, though.
Yeah, I mean, those were excellent matches. I thought Malenko was boring as shit because they always put him in with a high-flying, crazy wrestler, and he would just kill the match. But again, now I'd appreciate it. But when we were children, I was like, this dude sucks. Honestly, out of all of them,
is toast with no butter.
Yeah, all of them at the time, I loved Perry Saturn because I loved Raven's Flock.
Okay.
And Saturn was a big part of that. Billy Kidman with the shirt and the jorts and. Yeah, I loved Raven's Flock. Raven's Flock was probably my favorite thing in WCW.
Really?
Yeah, Raven's Flock, Sting, and the Wolfpack were probably my favorite part of WCW. Yeah, I thought Raven was the coolest dude. I was so bummed that he didn't do shit when he came to WWE.
Mysterious dude. Yeah, they didn't do anything with him.
No, nothing. But... even Bischoff admitted, he was on his podcast, he said Raven only got where Raven got because of Raven. He was like, I had no interest in Raven. I didn't get the character. He was like, literally all of that was everybody else but me because I just did not. He said, I was as bad as Vince when it came to Raven. I didn't get the character. I didn't get the story. I didn't get the whole Raven's Flock thing. He was like, I left that creative to other people because I just didn't get it. I loved it. I thought it was great. Filthy Animals. Oh, man.
Get down with the Filthy Animals.
Oh, yeah. I was actually at work because I've said it before, but I drive a truck. I was listening to the Wolfpack theme song today at work. Oh, man.
It's on the playlist.
One of the best theme songs. All right. Yeah, now that we ran down WCW for a minute here. Get
Late 90s show. Throwback.
Yeah.
So after this, we get Jey Uso. He's walking down a set of steps to the ring. He says he's been doubting himself lately, but he flew halfway across the world to whoop somebody's ass. And tonight, that person is Austin Theory. And at WrestleMania, that person's going to be Gunther. And so he's about to look away from the camera and go through the curtain into Gorilla. But back through it comes Pierce and a bunch of refs. Well, Gunther comes from this way. So they all kind of meet each other at the same time, which is super neat.
Yeah.
And so they kind of start going at it, and Pierce is all frantic, and he's like, I don't need this tonight. And, there's just so many voices. I didn't catch all this, but the meat and the potatoes of it is Gunther called Jey an embarrassment and says that he talked to his brother Jimmy on Friday, and he says Jimmy's just as dumb as Jey is.
Yeah.
And Jey just shoves Gunther, and he's like, I'll see you out there. So Jey makes it to the ring. His entrance was, 7 minutes longer than this match was.
Damn, this crowd was on fire. Listen, we've said it before.
Yeah.
Jey and Gunther have to start night one. I am more confident than ever. Jey and Gunther starts night one. The women's champion triple threat ends night one. Roman, Seth, and Punk start night two.
Good luck topping that. Holy shit.
Yep.
So this match is a quick one. Literally, I think it's just a series of duck, duck, duck. And then Jey hits a spear. Michael Cole thought it was a crossbody.
Yeah, he did.
Kind of caught me off guard. Honestly, I wasn't even looking up. I was still making food because I didn't expect the match to end that fast.
3 minutes, right?
I looked back up. No, it was like a 30-second match.
Yeah.
And Waller runs in, eats a super kick. Theory and Waller kind of roll outside of the ring towards the ramp. Jey goes to dive out of the ring, man. Catches his foot and eats shit.
Yeah.
Thank God he was okay. He bounces right back up. He shrugs. He acknowledges it. Gets back into the ring and right into a headlock from Gunther.
Real top dollar-ish.
Yep. Jey reverses out. He seems to have a counter for everything. He gets out of the headlock. He gets out of everything Gunther tries to do. And then he rips the title off Gunther's waist. Gunther runs it. Jey kind of ducks down, pulls the rope down. Gunther goes flying out. Jey stands tall with the title on the turnbuckle before he throws it at Gunther at ringside. So that's what I was saying. You knew you were going to get that 1 week where Jey looked strong and looked good. These next 4 weeks, Gunther has to fail.
And then have Gunther go to SmackDown and beat the hell out of Jimmy too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, destroy them both.
Yep.
100%.
100%.
After this, we get a little Braun Breaker and Finn Balor package for the main event. And then we get a follow-up on the contract signing. We got Pierce and Rhea out back. They're talking over each other, a lot of arguing. Pierce says Rhea can't just write your name in like that. He says it's like talking to a child.
Oh, yeah.
He keeps asking for the contract. She finally gives it to him, and she's like, only if you put me in the damn match. And just as soon as she gives it back, Bianca comes up. She attacks Rhea. And then Io runs in. She tosses Bianca off. She wants some of Rhea, so she throws in some punches. And then they all kind of start brawling. But Rhea ends up getting the last word. She fights both of them off. So I like that they did this on both shows, because they did this on SmackDown too. This wasn't just a one-segment brawl.
Yeah.
This bled over, which I enjoyed.
Yeah. I like this because, first off, Rhea and Pierce is hilarious. Pierce you can't just sign a contract and put yourself in a match. Where he's like, yes, I can. It's a legal document. I'm in the match. And he's like, no, you're a child. He's like, give me the contract. She's like, no. She really is acting like a child throwing a tantrum.
Yep.
And the best part is because she's acting that way, she looks like she's the heel, but we all know Bianca's still kind of manipulating this sort of, and still being the problem, even though she's like acting like she's not. You know what I'm saying? So boy,
Yep.
I love this. The brawl was great. I love me a good ass brawl. Like, and yeah, man, this is gonna. And I like that they have Bianca not just like leaving the Naomi and Jade story. Like she's dealing with both of these things at the same time, and I think that's gonna affect her at WrestleMania.
Yep.
So then after that, we get the Creeds versus Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. This was also seemed like it was fairly quick.
Super quick.
Yeah.
The match was in commercial, which pissed me off, to be honest.
True. Yeah, Julius attacks Dragon Lee as soon as, like, before the bell even rings.
ASAP, yep.
Right away. We come back from commercial. Ray gets the hot tag, starts taking out both brothers. Brutus has Ray on. So Brutus is on the ring apron, has Ray up on his shoulders, throws him backwards. Julius catches Ray, and then Ray hits him with the spinning DDT. And then Dragon Lee jumps over the top rope and hits Brutus with the Hurricanrana off the apron. Dude, that whole little piece right there was like, Jesus.
It was a lot, and man, Ray spiked Julius on the top of his head.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Brutal.
If they're not going to put the belts on the New Day at WrestleMania, they need to put the belts on Ray and Dragon Lee.
I could see him getting a little run. Just a little one.
Yeah. But if it was me, and I thought about this earlier today, I would put it on New Day, because if it was me, you don't want Penta and Ray Phoenix doing the same thing. I would take Dragon Lee away from Rey Mysterio, and I'd put Dragon Lee and Ray Phoenix as a tag team.
Really?
Yeah, and have them as like a tag team for like, I don't know, a year or whatever. That way you can introduce him to that way, and then one of them can turn and then feud. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want him and Penta doing the same shit.
No.
Like just cool, like luchador, one on each show. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think putting him as a tag team with Dragon Lee and really making him like an established team for a year would be doing something different, but still having him like building a character. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would do with him. Ray jumps off the top, throws Julius in the 619 position, hits a 619 frog splash for the win. Ray, Dragon Lee win. And then Gable with this stupid fucking luchador mask comes running out, attacks both of them, hits a diving headbutt on Dragon Lee before he gets chased out of the ring in the ringside area. I have no use for this masked Gable thing.
It's a little corny.
It's just not for me. Like, again, not all wrestling's for everybody. We kind of talked about before that AEW literally does nothing for either one of us right now. But yeah, this masked Gable thing. Frankly, Gable I struggle with a lot in general, but this masked Gable thing I could do without. As soon as
not Tyler's favorite.
No, as soon like I was excited to see where they were going with it, and as soon as they brought that box out, I was like, oh, they're gonna put him in a fucking mask. And yep.
Hey, if he made it through Shorty G, he can make it through anything. Do you remember that?
I didn't mind Shorty G.
Boy, that was the worst.
I didn't mind Shorty G. The outfit was terrible. But
it was horrible.
The dude's a midget. Like, you know.
Yeah, I did meet him at a house show. He wasn't a whole lot bigger than me.
Right, and trust me, I love this dude. I've known him since the second grade, but Court's not that tall.
It's true. So after this, we get a Seth and CM Punk recap from the steel cage match, and then Seth heads to the ring. They sing his song forever.
Them singing his song was longer than his promo.
By a lot.
Yeah.
This was longer than the tag team match, too, probably, because he comes out, they run a commercial break, Then they do like a couple like promos and stuff. Like this takes a while, and then they cut back. They still serenade him for a few minutes. And then the funniest part to me, as soon as he thanks them, they start chanting CM Punk.
Oh yeah,
brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, we'll get to him in a minute, but he says first he wants to talk about Roman. Seth says he's not mad about Roman getting revenge because he says he would have done the same. He does a stupid laugh. But he says, excuse me, the problem is, even with a wise man in his ear, Roman can't come up with a plan. He needs Architect to do it for him.
I love that.
Yep. Seth calls Punk the luckiest loser of all time because if it had just been a few more seconds, he would have done what he promised, which is stomping Punk's head through the mat, putting his career on ice, making sure he doesn't make it to WrestleMania, and he'd have taken care of the CM Punk problem for all of us. But now, it's just like the good old days. It's time for Seth to clean up Roman's mess.
Mm-hmm.
Seth says he's going to put Roman in his place along the way. And he says it's super convenient because Roman and Punk will both be in the same place on Friday. He says they're both scheduled for the show in Bologna. So he says he's going to join them both there. Honestly, kind of a super like cheesy thing at the end here. But in short, we're getting Punk, we're getting Roman, we're getting Seth all on Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh, yeah.
You know it's going to be electric. That'll be like a third of what our show is about.
Yeah.
I can guarantee.
Oh, yeah. That's going to take up half of SmackDown. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's that. And then we get a little promo backstage. Kathy Kelly is with AJ Styles. They talk about how AJ was on the Raw recap last week talking about Logan Paul. She's like, can you expand your thoughts on that? And before AJ can really say much, all he really says is Logan doesn't belong on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cross walks up saying, tell us how you really feel. And AJ's like, oh, great. He's like, come on, man. I don't need to do this again. Cross says he wants to just offer a different perspective for AJ. AJ's like, you know what? Okay, let's hear it. Cross is like, hey, man, maybe you're not actually mad at Logan. Maybe you're mad at yourself. AJ's like, all right, yep, I've heard enough. He goes to walk away.
Yeah.
Cross swings him back around. He asks AJ how long it took him to get to WWE. He's like, 16 years. AJ's like, 17. Cross is like, exactly. Mm-hmm. It didn't take Logan nearly that long. And Cross is like, what, so you can't find respect for someone who just waltzed into our business and accomplished everything you wanted to do as a kid in record time? And AJ gets pissed. And he's like, I see what you're trying to do, but it's not going to work. And he walks away. And Cross's psycho ass leans into Scarlett and he's like, I think it is working.
With the biggest smile on his face.
And so he's just souring the grapes. He's been doing it with Sammy. Now he's doing it with Seth. He's just pissing everybody off.
I love this because you're really seeing Cross's personality. Like, he's so just manipulative. And, when AJ's like, I'm good. And, he's like, fine. He turns around to go walk away, and AJ stops, and he's like, all right, well, say what you want to say. And the smile he gets on his face, oh, it's so good. And he's so cheesy with it in the best way. How much longer, if we're going to get Sammy and Cross, how much longer do you think they keep Sammy out?
He's got to be back.
Next week, right?
Now,
yeah.
I don't know if it's happening now. I was gonna say I just want this Cross stuff to turn into something.
Yeah.
I like the backstage stuff is cool, but I want him in the ring. Like, I liked him in NXT so much, man.
Yeah.
I hope we get Cross just running over people in the ring here pretty soon. I always liked his moveset, man. He's always had cool finishers. Got an awesome entrance.
Yeah, he's a beast.
But he's thriving in his promos. I just wanted to turn it into something, but I don't know if him and Sammy is going to make it to Mania. It might be like one of those Raw before.
Well, what else are they going to do? They're not going to keep Sammy off Mania. Unless he's injured.
Oh, I don't think he is.
Yeah, me either. They're not going to put him with Randy and KO. We already have 2 triple threat matches.
Right.
So, I don't know. We'll see, but I do feel like we're starting to run out of time with that pretty quick. So
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
And then we get our main event, the Intercontinental Championship, Finn Balor, Braun Breaker. I mean, this was compared to this was like a 15-minute match, give or take, with commercials, This was a solid match. So, I mean, they go straight into it. I like how Finn really wrestled as, like, the veteran. Like, he had so many reverses and,
Yep.
Braun, like this. Braun runs around ringside and Finn hits him with the sling blade.
Yeah, man. Dude. He went for that big, like the spear outside the ring, sling blade.
And he's so smooth with it. Finn's so smooth with it. Braun catches Finn in the midair and power slams him into the ring. And, dude, Finn bounced when he hit the ground.
Oh, man, like a basketball.
This match was so cool. Braun just looks like a more of a star every time you see him. Like,
that dude is built different.
Yeah. Dom and Carlito come running out, and Finn tries to hit a roll-up. Doesn't work. Finn doesn't look very happy that they're out there. I'm pretty sure at one point he yells at them. He's like, what are you doing here?
He does. Yeah. It's in a few more moves, but he asks Dom. Actually, there's only one more move. Braun does this. He goes for a military press. Finn reverses it. I don't know what he calls the move, but he has him like he's going for the Scorpion Death Drop. And it's kind of like the Eye of the Hurricane. He turns into an elbow drop.
Yeah.
And then he gets up and he asks Dom what he's doing at ringside.
Yeah. You got Braun runs the ropes like 4 times and then clotheslines the shit out of Finn. I felt bad at Finn in some of these moves, man, because Braun's just brutal. Like, the way he runs those ropes, oh my god! And you just see him bouncing back and forth, and you're like, oh, he's about to kill this poor bastard, whoever he's in the ring with. Braun jumps off the ringside area and tackles Finn over the announce table, busts his mouth open, because after this, Braun starts bleeding from the mouth.
And he scraped his face really bad.
Yeah. Again in the ring, Braun tries to run the ropes and gets hit with the sling blade again. Yeah, like I said, Finn had a lot of reverses for a lot of the stuff Braun was doing, which was a great way to set this match up. Finn kicks Braun into the corner, tries to go for the coup de grace, and Braun moves out of the way. Braun goes for a spear and gets kicked in the face. Braun and Finn are on the top rope. Carlito distracts the ref. Dom jumps up and pulls Braun off, but when he does, Finn loses balance and crotches himself on the top rope. And Dom is like, oh no, what did I do?
Thanks.
Yeah, Braun runs up, hits the Frankenstein, or hits the spear. 1, 2, 3. Braun Breaker is still your Intercontinental Champion. After the match, Dom and Carlito jump Braun. They start kicking the shit out of him. Dom grabs the belt and just stares at it. Like, he looked at that for a little bit.
I think he picked it up.
Yeah, he picked it up and stares at it because they were going to hit Braun with it. And then Penta comes out, makes the save, comes sprinting into the ring. Breaker ends up spearing the shit out of Carlito. Penta picks up the championship, slams it against Braun's chest, and Braun holds the belt up in between him and Penta, and that is how the show ends. I love the fact that they are ending shows with Braun Breaker and Penta face to face with the Intercontinental title lifted up in between them. Mm-hmm. What a way to end that show.
I did not go into this show thinking Penta was going to be the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental title, but I'm here for it.
But yeah, absolutely. Like we said, a really good show. I mean, Cena's promo took up a majority of the beginning. A solid ending match to end the show in a little segment. The contract signing was good. The fighting backstage was good between them. We got some quick but good matches, some quick good promos. Seth's going to be on SmackDown with Roman and Punk. Yeah. Overall, I thought the show was good, dude.
We're almost to Mania, baby.
Almost to Mania.
We're about a month out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. and it is building like it's just getting more and more exciting. You remember how we were talking right after the Elimination Chamber and was like, there's no story for Rhea and Bianca. And now you're like, dude, I can't wait for them to throw hands. And Io's in this.
Yep. They seem more the focal point. Poor Io is the one that's kind of left out, but
that's why
she keeps
needs to
reinserting herself.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's going to be awesome.
Oh, it's going to be so good. So that is Monday Night Raw. You will see us Wednesday for our NXT review. Give us a like, a subscribe, follow. Hit the little ringy bell so you get notified when we post our videos. And until Wednesday, we'll see everybody then. Peace.